What's going on? This is Chris with another video, and this week we're talking about what I've been playing, and my focus has mostly been on the PS4. And at the time of filming this, I am 12 days out from my wedding, which means I'm 14 days out from a 12-hour flight to Hawaii, where I plan on only bringing my Switch 2 with me. So I want to do a little bit of housekeeping on the games that I've been kicking around and stuff like that. And this particular week, for the most part, I've been playing some Switch 2, but I'll get into that this upcoming week. This week I'm focusing on mostly the PS4 and a game on. I've been using my Xbox from back compat again, so we'll go over that in a second. Funny enough, I beat the first game. I only have the second one physically, and then I have the first game physically here, but I'm actually playing the second one digitally. So the first game is I beat KNACK. This is KNACK 2, but I'll be playing that in the future. But I beat KNACK. I got it on sale on PSN probably 2018, maybe even early. Actually, no, I got the PS4 in 2017, so probably that summer, realistically, I got KNACK digitally. And, I'd heard mixed reviews at the time, and yeah, it definitely is more of a tech demo than it is like a full-fledged, Ratchet and Clank style 3D platformer, but there's a lot of heart to it and a lot of... It's such a game I truly want to love. The story, for the most part, is nothing special. They did get me there for a second, though. I was actually quite intrigued as to where they were going with it, and they didn't quite stick the landing there. There's actually a lot of weirdness to it, but I'm curious to see what KNACK 2 looks like in that regard. The combat is simultaneously the most infuriating because of the length of your attack is so variable, considering depending on how big you are. I hated being little KNACK. I loved being big KNACK, and the rubber banding back and forth between how powerful you were was very frustrating, because it's not like if I was being not careful enough and was being penalized for it, that's one thing, but I'm just constantly losing. The system in this, if you haven't played KNACK, let me just back up, is this character right here, KNACK, he's made of all these relics, and he starts off very small, and he absorbs more and more relics into his orbit, and he becomes bigger and he becomes more powerful. And in the first game, at least, you can there are certain times in the levels that are very scripted, where you can take on elements such as ice, this glass material to be stealth KNACK, which I really appreciated, metal KNACK, wood KNACK, and then through wood is fire KNACK, and a little bit of electricity through. Anyways, so it's kind of like some Mega Man vibes to it, where you got powers, but it was all scripted. You had no real control or flexibility over your different powers. I really hope, and there's probably not going to be a KNACK 3 anytime soon, but I hope that they expand upon that in the future to something more like Infamous, where you can kind of control a different power suite and have a bit more creativity with what you end up doing to take out your enemies instead of just punching. But the gameplay itself, you have attack and you have jump, and you can jump and do a Sonic the Hedgehog style homing attack, and it's pretty much it. You have a dodge with the right stick, which feels terrible. I would have much preferred it to be the circle button, but the circle button, you have you very slowly build up 3 special attacks that just kind of wipe out the more annoying characters on the screen, but you really have to kind of manage that special bar pretty aggressively. So I barely use the special attacks, to be honest, unless I was gonna die immediately or had been dying a lot. But the problem is, once you die, you don't get... The checkpointing is terrible in this game, and it kicks you back way farther than I think is necessary, especially for a game of that time. I think we had already figured out what a good checkpointing system looks like, especially if you experience a cutscene or if you've gone through a door. That should be the new checkpoint. So a lot of frustration there that made my gameplay a lot longer than it should have been, and made the game outstay its welcome. A lot of frustration with dodges that should have worked fine, that I would get one hit and kicked back. So a lot of these things could have been a very charming game instead of just a frustrating, not well thought out game. I don't know why you don't get your special back after you die. If I use 2 of my 3 special attacks during a boss fight and I die, I'm therefore stuck farming from these crystals on the side, dying over and over again to get my 3 special attacks. and that's just like, for that to not have come out of playtesting is crazy to me. So it definitely wasn't fully baked by any means. It was meant to show how great the PS4 graphics could look, what the physics system looks like, and I guess just be a kid-friendly title. And like, I really liked it from that standpoint. The art design, the very DreamWorks like characters, very How to Train Your Dragon in terms of like the faces and, you know, the facial movements and stuff like that, but really nothing much with the story, and except for some like interesting commentary on like colonialism and stuff like that, which was crazy. You know, I was like, oh, the goblins actually aren't in the wrong here, and then he's like, I want to wipe out all of humanity. So I'm like, all right, you know, maybe the goblins actually have to be taken out. But there was some creativity with Knack and stuff like that, with like how the enemies tried to take him out, but overall kind of ridiculous. So but yeah, that's Knack. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 on how long to beat, but realistically a 3.5 stars out of 5. And I really liked it towards the last third of the game for sure. I was cruising. I played the last like third all in one day, whereas it was drips and drabs over the last couple weeks of just playing on the PS4. If I haven't mentioned this on the channel, or this is your first video, I have my main TV where I have like the PS5 currently hooked up. I usually am playing the PS5 on the Portal a lot, or like late at night. And then I have the Switch 2 hooked up to the bedroom TV. I have my old PS4 Slim hooked up in my office TV. And that's for more just kind of like mindless, like not necessarily a game I'm going to beat, or like not anything too crazy or plot heavy. And that's where I started Knack. So I think that's a great game for it. I just wanted to finish it up, so I threw it in the PS5, threw it in the Portal, did the cloud save, and yeah, played it a lot in the Portal, which was great. But a lot of my handheld time is going to be dominated by mostly the Switch too, but as I get ready to bring that with me to Hawaii to play, you know, I'll go over them next week. Link's Awakening, or Zelda Echoes of Wisdom I've already talked about, and there's another game or two I'll be playing as well. But anyways, the other game on the handheld that I've been playing, other than a little bit of Mafia 3, I think I'm about halfway through the game. It's fun, but I don't want to overdo it and get sick of it. I don't remember what the hell. Oh, I thought the ROG Ally was behind me. Anyways, on the ROG Ally, I've been using it as, for whatever reason, the Series X, I've had a lot better luck with using remote play. And the good thing about it being a PC handheld is you can do Xbox 360 and original Xbox remote play that you can't do on mobile. So I've been playing the sequel to this game. I played, I think either the first or the last game I played beat last year was Star Wars Force Unleashed. It was either like right at the tail end of Christmas time or at the beginning of the new year. I don't remember which. But I played through Force Unleashed, which I had, you know, played through the first third to half of a whole bunch of times on 360, but I picked up on Steam. And then for whatever reason, I had it in my Amazon Prime library or whatever, but I didn't feel like buying it again on Steam. I had it on 360 through a Games with Gold. I have a very long list of 360 games that I got through Games with Gold over the years that they don't take away if your subscription lapses, like they do with Xbox One and Xbox Series titles. So Force Unleashed 2 was one of them, and it's supposed to be 5 to 7 hours. A lot of people don't like it, but I was like, yeah, it'll be a day I was just feeling off. I didn't feel like didn't get pretty good sleep because of the dog waking up in the middle of the night, but I wanted to just shut my brain off, and the perfect way to do that is just a hack and slash type game. So far, I gotta say, I'm probably like maybe a quarter of the way through the game. Maybe a little bit further if it's only 5 hours, but the opening of that game is even better than the opening of Force Unleashed, which is badass. You have all the powers, you're Vader, and you know, you're taking out Wookiees and stuff in the first game. In the second game, I guess if you haven't played the first, you're a clone of the protagonist from the first game, is all I'll say. And Vader's trying to take you out because you're like a failed clone. And you have all the Force powers, all the Sith powers, like the Jedi Lightning. This is all like to very much start the game. And you're building upon, it feels finally like a continuation of like, you know, a sequel continuing from the first game. It's not like, oh, I lost all of my, it's not like Metroid Prime where you immediately lose your suit and your missiles and all that and you have to get it all back. So at least so far so good with that. Like I love the power set. This seems like a game that, assuming it doesn't fall apart, controls a hell of a lot better than Force Unleashed 1, even though it's definitely on the same engine. Maybe it's prettied up a bit, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's an absolute joy to play. The only thing is I'm very loud with clacking the buttons on the ROG Ally, so I'll probably play that fairly soon. I don't know if I'll rush to beat it before I head to Hawaii, but I think it'll be one similar to KNACK, one that I kind of play here and there, and then maybe sprint, like have that be the sole game I play towards the end of next week, leading up to, oh my god, crazy, not this weekend, but next weekend will be my wedding weekend, which is insane, and I'm super excited for. So I'll be bringing the ROG Ally and the Switch 2 with me, just to kind of because I'll be hanging out in my hotel room for a bit, not running into Sarah. So anyways, those are the games I've been playing this week. I beat KNACK, so that's 5 games I've beaten in the month of June, which is insane. I was 1 to 2 per month prior to that, and I was hoping to get like 2 done in June. But beginning of the month, I beat Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and then I beat, in no particular order, Evil West. What else? Definitely talked about in the previous video, but yeah, with the wedding planning stuff, things have been going crazy. Evil West, KNACK, something else on PlayStation. What would it have been? Yakuza 0, oh my god. And which I definitely want to start Kiwami 1 as soon as I get back from the trip, but I'm not going to buy it on Switch 2 or on Steam. So Yakuza 0, Clair Obscur, Evil West, KNACK. What would be the 5th one? I don't know. Clearly it made an impression on me, but I know it was a good game, whatever it was. So, but either way, yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, as you can see, my brain is fried, so I think this is a good place to leave it. Keep it short and sweet this week. Thank you so much. We'll be talking a lot more Switch 2 next week as I prepare for my vacation, and then maybe finishing up Force Unleashed 2 and see if it falls off a cliff or not. But for right now, I'm gonna get back to it. I'll catch you in the next one later.